A very good morning, students. Hope all are fine during COVID-19. Today we will study the law of marginal utility and consumer equilibrium. As we all know that law of equimarginal utility is a blend of two laws, that is law of diminishing marginal utility and law of demand. In last session we have learned about law of diminishing marginal utility. So my dear students, now question arises, what is the law of diminishing marginal utility? Good. So it is the marginal utility of a goods or services that declines as its supply increases. And now students, what is a demand? Good, very good. Demand always depends upon the price. As we all know that consumers, they always have the money and they spend for buying the things. Consumer is having two options, whether he can spend his money or keep the money in his pocket. Now what is equilibrium? State of rest, and there is no tendency to change. When a consumer is in state of equilibrium, he does not change his level of consumption, which depicts that he is obtaining maximum satisfaction. Thus, we can say that consumer's main objective is to obtain the maximum satisfaction by spending the money whichever he is having in his pocket. Now, at the time of consumption of a goods, the consumer can either buy a good or keep his money with him. So the condition for the single commodity case is, according to cardinal approach for a consumer equilibrium, it is necessary that marginal utility of X goods should be equal to the market price of X goods. We can say that marginal utility की वैल्यू जो X goods की मार्केट वैल्यू है उसके इक्वल होनी चाहिए. Therefore, MUX equals to PX. Then only we can get the maximum satisfaction. At this point only we can obtain the maximum satisfaction. If MUX is greater than PX, then consumer will buy more quantity of X to increase his welfare. But if MUX, that means marginal utility of X goods, is less than the price of X goods, then he will buy the less quantity to maximize his welfare, because he is having the limited amount that he has to spend. He can increase the quantity or decrease the quantity, but the price will remain the same. Now comes when a consumer goes to the market, he is having other things also to buy, that is two or more commodity case. The law of equimarginal utility helps in optimum allocation of the income. Income is the same, whatever we have taken 500 rupees or 200 is the same. With that only you have to buy more commodities. It is Gaussian's second law. It is also known as law of substitution, law of income allocations, law of maximum satisfaction. Law of substitution means अगर एक चीज की प्राइस ज्यादा है तो हम दूसरी चीज परचेज कर सकते हैं, अगर दूसरी की ज्यादा है तो हम पहले में कर सकते हैं. Now, what does this two commodity law explain us? This law states that the consumer will distribute his income between the goods in such a way that the utility derived from the last rupee spent on each good is equal. In this way, the consumer will get maximum satisfaction and will be in equilibrium. From this definition, we can conclude that this law is based on the principle of obtaining maximum satisfaction from a limited income. It also explains the behavior of a consumer when he consumes more than one commodity. Write down, students, hurriedly. Now, conditions for equilibrium. If a consumer consumes more than one good, then he will be in equilibrium when the following condition is fulfilled. That means we can say MUX upon Px should be equal to MUY upon Py, that means how many commodities you have to purchase, that should be equal to the money of Pn upon money of P upon N. Here MU, this MU and this MUs are the marginal utilities for the commodities, whereas this P and this P are the prices of the commodities. And second condition should be X multiplied by P plus Y, XP plus YP equals to M budget constant. That means X quantity should be multiplied by the price of that X and Y quantity should be multiplied by the price of Y should be equals to our income, whatever money we are having in our hand, that we have to spend. According to the above condition, the expenditure on X goods, that is XP, and expenditure on Y goods, that is YP, this should be equal to the consumer's income, that is M. Write down hurriedly, beta. These both the conditions should be clear. This is the first condition. This condition should be fulfilled, and second is this condition. This both conditions should be fulfilled. Then only a person can get the maximum satisfaction, maximum utilization of his money. Let us move to next slide now. Before keeping these all, we should know the assumptions. There is no change in the price of the goods or services. The consumer has a fixed income. The marginal utility of money is constant. A consumer has perfect knowledge of utility. Consumer tries to have maximum satisfaction. The utility is measurable in cardinal terms. Cardinal means in money, that is 1, 2, we can count it. A consumer has many wants. There are substitute for goods. In lump sum we can say, if these all things we will assume, then only law of equi-marginal utility will be done. Otherwise this law will be not active, it will not clarify the conditions. Write down hurriedly assumptions, beta. In your book it is given so explanatory, I have given in the points. Write down. Good. Consumer's equilibrium in marginal utility analysis can be explained with the help of the example. So let us assume the income of a consumer be rupees 450. Price of X goods, that is per kg, is 30, and price of Y goods, that is 90 per kg. Here 1 kg quantity is in kg, that is 1. This is per rupees 385, and of M they have given, and I have taken out MUX upon PX, that is MUX 385 divided by 30 is equals to 12.85. And here the consumer, if as per the first condition we have done 85 by 30, we will get 12.83. In the same way, if we will divide 1150 by 90, we will get 12.77. In the same way, we will calculate all the values of PUX upon PY, MUY upon PY in the same way. Here, when you will buy 3 kg of X goods, you will get 300, that is 10. And when you will buy 4 kg of Y goods, you will get 10. Here both the MUX upon PX equals to MUY upon PY. You will get both the marginal utilities, maximum satisfaction, maximum. So to maximize his satisfaction for 2 goods, he will purchase 3 kg of X goods, this one, and 4 kgs of Y goods, this. Then he will get the maximum satisfaction. Therefore, first condition is fulfilled. Write down, copy down hurriedly. Now we will move to next condition. Second condition, we already know that x into px plus y into py equal should be m. M means our money, whatever income we are having in our pocket, we have to spend on both the commodities. But this balance should not be disturbed. Here x equals to 3 kg. See, x we will take 3 kg and price of x quantity is rupees 30, whereas y we will take 4 kg and py is 90 kg. Here I have highlighted also both the quantities. And m money we are having 450 in our pocket. Now we will substitute these values for x3 into how much price it is. Px equals to 30 plus 4 into 90 equals to this 450. That means 3 into 30 is equals to 90 plus 90 into 4 360. That means 450. 450 equals to 450. Here we are getting the maximum satisfaction. Suppose, just let us assume if the consumer takes the one quantity 1 kg of x, that means 30 plus and y quantity also 1 and 1 kg of 90 rupees plus 90. But when we will add, we will get only 120. That means we are having more money in our pocket. This combination will not go. In the same way, we can find if we will take 2 kg of x, that means 30 into 260, and y if we will take 2 kg, 2 means 90 into 2, 180. In the same way, this combination will also not find. So we will go with this combination where both the mu x upon py px and mu y upon py are 10. That is 3 kg and 4 kg. Here he will get the maximum satisfaction. So both the conditions of consumer's equilibrium are fulfilled. Let us move to next slide. Copy down hurriedly first. Now let us study by graphical representation also of on x-axis we have drawn the quantity, whereas on y-axis we have drawn the marginal utility of money or expenditure. Suppose the consumer is spending money on the x goods, that is AB. It shows the combination of mu x upon px, whereas on y goods the consumer is spending, that is C, that is mu y upon py, and m is the money, that budget we are having in our pocket. Now when this money line is crossing, see both x goods and y goods. Here if he will purchase this much quantity of x goods and this much of y goods, then he will satisfy the condition, that is mu x upon px should equals to mu y upon py. On this condition only he can purchase the combination of two goods. If third good he has to purchase, then one more we will draw here, then here it will come the combination, and if he will purchase more, then this can't be reduced because money we are having only this much. Is it clear? Very good. Now comes the limitations of the law. First is unrealistic assumptions. That means full knowledge of alternative preferences and choices. It is impossible. No one can has the full knowledge of the alternative goods or services. Consumer is not always rational. This is also truth. We cannot say that consumer will always be a rational. The law of equimarginal utility assumes too much rationality in the behavior of a consumer. In real life, consumers do not always make their purchases considering minutely the relative marginal utility of the different commodities. They make their purchases very often out of fancy or emotion or social needs without judging carefully their marginal utilities. In such cases, the law does not hold. दैट मीन्स हमारे पास पूरी नॉलेज नहीं होती कि मैं पूरा रेशनली या पूरा कैलकुलेट करके किसी चीज को परचेज करने जाऊंगी. इन रियलिटी सम गुड्स आर इनडिविजिबल, दैट मीन्स सम गुड्स आर देयर दैट वी कैन नॉट डिवाइड. हम किसी गुड्स को डिवाइड नहीं कर सकते, जैसे अपना घर, रेफ्रिजरेटर, वी कैन नॉट परचेज पार्टली. यूटिलिटी इज अनमेजरेबल और मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी ऑफ मनी इज नॉट कॉन्स्टेंट. First we'll do utility is unmeasurable. That means this law assumes, as in the utility analysis of the neoclassical writers, this ability can be measured, but it is pointed out that utility, being a subjective concept, cannot be measured. Whereas marginal utility of money is not constant. So we cannot say the money, whatever we have in the pocket, it will remain the same. It can change. The law assumes that the marginal utility of money remains constant at different levels of income. But as income increases, marginal utility of money falls. So the law cannot be applied in the practice. Last, there is no fixed accounting period for the consumer. That means accounting period is only for 1 year. From 1st April till 31st March, and our marginal utility of money goes on changing. Copy down. Yes. Now comes the importance of first is it is applicable in various fields, that is consumption, production, exchange and distribution. In consumption, that means consumer should have the maximum satisfaction. If a consumer will get the maximum satisfaction, then only he will purchase the things, otherwise not. A wise consumer consciously acts on this law while arranging his expenditure. His expenditure is so distributed that the same price measures equal utilities at the margin of different purchases. Every person must try to spend his income in a manner which yields him the greatest satisfaction. So consumer should be satisfied, then only he will purchase the things. Next comes the production. Now what is the main objective of the producer? He should get the maximum profit, that is minimum per unit cost. This law is also of great importance in production. The producer has to use several factors of production. He wants maximum net profit. For this purpose, he must substitute one factor for another so as to have the most economical combinations. For example, he will substitute labor for machinery and vice versa, so that marginal utility or marginal productivity of two is equalized in this manner. He will get most economical combination of the actors of production at his disposal to make maximum profit. Then comes the exchange. Exchange how? The law also applies in exchange. Exchange means आपस में change करना. Because exchange is nothing else but substitution of one thing for the another. मेरे पास एक है, मैं दूसरे को अपनी चीज दे दूंगी और उससे उसकी ले लूंगी. When we sell a commodity, we can say, take the example of sugar. We get money. With this money, we buy another commodity, that we can say wheat. We have therefore really substituted sugar for wheat. Clear? Exchange. अगर मेरे पास कोई चीज है, मैंने उसको बाजार में बेच दी और जो मनी मेरे से आई, जो मुझे नीड है, मैं उस मनी से उसको परचेज कर लूंगी. वेरी गुड. नाउ कम्स द डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन. व्हाट इज डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन? इट इज ऑन द प्रिंसिपल ऑफ मार्जिनल प्रोडक्टिविटी दैट द शेयर ऑफ ईच फैक्टर ऑफ प्रोडक्शन, that is land, labor, capital, organization, is determined. The use of each factor is pushed up to a point where its marginal product is equal to the marginal product of every other factor. Of course, after allowing for the differences in their respective remunerations, the necessity substitution one factor for the another. Last, it is applicable in allocation or income between consumptions and savings. That means the law of substitution influences the prices. When a commodity becomes scarce, that is less, the price becomes high. And when we substitute for it things which are less scarce, its price comes to down. Hope you understood it. Now let's have the homework. Write down homework. Explain Gauss's second law with the help of table and graph. Write the assumptions, limitations and importance of equimarginal utility. Write the condition for consumer's equilibrium in case of two goods according to cardinal analysis.